Hello friends, welcome to Knowledge House. Let's look into today's The Hindu newspaper, that is of the date 11th of September 2018. So we'll be looking only to certain articles that are important from a UPSC and various other competitive exams perspective. So I welcome you all to this video. Let's start. The first is regarding Babri Masjid case. So as you know, this happened in the first half of 1900s, and also there was a judicial commission that inquired into this particular case, that is MS Libran Commission, who submitted its report after a long time. That is, it was appointed somewhere in the in again in the first half of 1900s, and it submitted its report by something like 2008 or 9 or anyway. I'm not clear with in which year the commission submitted its report, but it took relatively longer time, something like more than 10 years. And also there are many top level politicians who are named in this report as the main culprits behind this particular act. So now there was a verdict by the Allahabad High Court, and now the case is under consideration for Supreme Court. And Supreme Court on Monday asked the additional sessions judge S.K. Yadav, who is hearing the Babri Masjid demolition case against top BJP and Sangh Parivar leaders like L.K. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi, Uma Bharati, and lakhs of unknown Kar Sevaks to explain how he intends to complete the trial by April 2019, the deadline given by it. So what are the precise directives here? So a look at the Supreme Court's order on April 19, 2017, where it fixed April 2019 as the deadline for the Sessions Court to complete the trial in the Babri Masjid demolition case. So the court ordered day-to-day trial to be completed in 2 years, and the trial judge will in any case not be transferred till the case is over. And if an impossible situation arises, the trial court would record the reason for the adjournment, and the Supreme Court should be directly approached in cases of any grievance against this order. So the Sessions Judge in Lucknow is now jointly trying the Raebareli case also, which involves again some other politicians, with that against Kar Sevaks who destroyed the Babri Masjid on December 6, 1992 and unleashed violence. Anyway, these are the things from which we have to look at it. That a deadline has been given by the Supreme Court. So how such kind of an action can help our in our judiciary there are lakhs of cases are pending at various courts. So again, definitely, how effective would be this deadline, or what are the likely challenges that are likely to appear when working under such a deadline kind of condition? So, and about this case, and that's all. It seems that's all important about this particular case, article. So that let's move on to the next one. So does the buck stop with the governor? That's the other article. So yesterday we analyzed an article regarding Article 161 of the Constitution, in which the governor has the power to pardon. And yesterday the article was about the convicts of Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. So now the article is again regarding the same question. So while the senior advocate is of the opinion that any decision by the governor would have to be reaffirmed by the president, a former chief justice of a high court said the governor has separate powers to decide the matter. And there is another senior advocate saying that since this is a CBI prosecution and not a state prosecution, the state has no say. Therefore, even after the state government recommends and the governor takes a decision to release the convicts, there still needs to be reaffirmation by the center, which basically means that it will go back to the president again for reconfirmation. So, former Chief Justice of Delhi High Court again commented that it was too early to comment on this. However, what he does in exercise of his power is open for him to decide. That's another opinion. So, Supreme Court said that the Tamil Nadu government was at liberty to take a decision on the mercy petition filed by AG Perarivalan, who is a convict in the 1991 Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. And Perarivalan and other 6 convicts had pleaded to the governor and the state government for remission of their sentence, and they have already spent more than 26 years in prison. So, the said order is in consonance with the law laid down by the Constitution Bench of the Apex Court in the Sriharan case, where it has been held that the convict has the right to have his case considered and decided. So any decision taken under Article 161 will be amenable to judicial review. So these are the things to be noted. So this is a CBI prosecution. So there is an opinion that the state government has no say. While there are former Chief Justice of the High Courts, some Chief Justice of the High Court says that governor's action is not amenable to the governor has separate power to decide this matter. And there is another view that Article 161 will be amenable to judicial review. So anyway, let's see how things are going to evolve, what kind of action or what are the kind of precedents that have happened in this particular case. Anyway, I think I can take up this issue tomorrow because I have some really good articles regarding the constitution and the PM Bakshi's edition of constitution. I think I will look into it for tomorrow so that you guys can have a better analysis of this particular article. So let's move on to the next one. It is regarding the casting papers. So it is about the Animal Welfare Board of India. It is let's look into what kind of a body it is in the later part of this analysis. So now let's look into this news. The Union Women and Child Development Minister Maneka Gandhi has locked horns with the Animal Welfare Board of India, accusing it of being lax in enforcement of rules that specify how wild animals can be depicted in films and television programs. The board is India's apex body for ensuring that animals are not mistreated. So, rules for featuring animals film as per the Performing Animals Registration Rules of 2011, the owner shall ensure that the animal is not continuously used for excessive number of takes in a shooting a film without getting adequate rest. The owner shall ensure that while using an animal in shooting of a film, the fight sequence shall not be shot in any livestock holding area, including poultry area, and shall further ensure that no birds are shown in its cages. The owner shall inform the prescribed authority at least 4 weeks in advance, informing the place, date, and time of the actual making of the film wherein animals will be used. So, the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960 provides the powers of search and seizure to the police if he or she has the reason to believe that an offense of cruelty has been committed on the animal. So while tigers, monkeys, lions, bears, panthers, including leopards, are banned from being exhibited under Section 22 of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act, the government body has allowed their use on several occasions. Mrs. Gandhi wrote in her letter, the same thing. And the subcommittee has granted requests for showing snakes and birds without applicants specifying the species. So that's all important about that. I don't think we need to very much look into this kind of article, and we'll take up what kind of a body is Animal Welfare Board of India in the later part of this analysis. So that's all about this article. Let's move on to the next one. It is regarding the Afghan-Iran-India relationship. So Foreign Secretary is in Kabul for trilateral meeting. So ahead of the important trilateral meeting, Afghanistan, Iran, India talks over Chabahar port project on Tuesday, Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale held bilateral discussions with Afghanistan Deputy Foreign Minister. That's the news about. And both sides convened the joint working group on political and security cooperation. So right now there has been a lot of noise regarding India-Iran relationship, especially from the US angle and the Qatar rule. And Afghanistan has a long pending request for India to procure at least 4 attack helicopters from the Soviet Union for Afghan army. So in addition, India has a series of outlays for 116 small development projects, and India has a lot of investment, especially some of their irrigation projects, their parliament building, everything has been under our supervision, or we kind of invested money, not investment, we donated the kind of money in exchange of the kind of influence we enjoy in Afghanistan. So India-Afghanistan trade currently at around $900 million has received a boost from a special air corridor established between Kabul and Delhi, Mumbai last year. Since then, Afghanistan has launched air cargo corridors with Kazakhstan, Turkey, and various other countries. And the highlight of the visit is expected to be India, Afghanistan-Iran talks on operationalizing phase 1 of the Shahid Beheshti port in Chabahar that India is developing in the face of US sanctions that go into effect on November 4. So anyway, this is going to be an important equation setter for all the 3 countries involved in this particular trilateral meeting. And we have a lot of strategic interest in Afghanistan, and China is also in competition with India regarding outside investment, and also considering the equation between Iran and China, or kind of or the main aim of the Chabahar port is to bypass Pakistan to for accessing the Central Asia, the mineral rich Central Asia, I must say. Anyway, let's see, or let's wait for the meeting to over, I mean the trilateral meeting to get done, so that we will have further information regarding the latest developments of trilateral relationship with these countries. So that's all important about that. Let's move on to the next one. India is asking for trade deal due to our tough policies. That's what Donald Trump has said. So India and US are now negotiating several trade issues, and the talks are in the stalemate as the US trade representative has demanded a commitment from India to make additional purchases worth $10 billion annually for the next 3 years. So I think rather than looking what this particular article says, this is an ideal time for us to visit the latest development, or to revise the latest development in India-US relationship. So we know what is CATSA. I have very well looked into in a previous video like this, and there was a LEMO agreement, that is Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Understanding, and there is basic BECA kind of agreement, which involves the exchange of geospatial information between India and the US, and other one was COMCASA, that is Communication Compatibility and Stability Agreement. So these are the latest developments in India-US relationship, and also the kind of sanctions. We have been offered exemption from the sanction, especially regarding the S-400 missile purchase from Russia. So that's a positive thing, kind of development. And anyway, going through the history of India-US relationship, there has been lots of ups and downs. I mean, during 1971 war, the Bangladesh Liberation War, US was inside of Pakistan, and Russia supported us. And from there, we conducted the nuclear test. There were sanctions imposed on us, and it was during the civil nuclear deal that was signed between India government and the government of US in somewhere in the later 2000s that we got an exemption from that kind of sanction. And still we are not a member of various kind of nuclear global regimes like NSG. We have not signed the comprehensive test ban treaty, and despite such basic criteria, we have been given exceptions from sanctions. So that's all important about this particular article. So we have looked into some kind of history, and we have looked into the recent developments also. So that's all important about this. Let's move on to the next one. Google wants more time to meet data storage norms. So technology giant Google has sought 2 more months from the Indian government to comply with the RBI guidelines mandating the storage of data by the digital payment service providers locally. So the RBI in April this year had directed the payment system operators to store all data, including the end-to-end transaction details and information collected within India. The service providers were given 6 months to comply with, that is till October 15th. So the storing data flows generate more economic value, and hence the socio-economic impact of restricting the data flow must be thoroughly considered while framing any policy. So there is a need to find a practical, contemporary solution to the policy issues in line with the global best practices. So I think coming to the global best practices, I think we should revisit the general data protection rules that recently came into effect in the European Union. So I think I'll take up 2 issues tomorrow. One is regarding the Article 161, and other one is regarding the GDPR. So that's all about the newspaper part today. Let's look into the Animal Welfare Board. So this is a statutory body. So that's the key word here. Established in 1962 under Section 4 of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act of 1960. And it frames a range of rules on how animals ought to be humanely treated everywhere. It has also frequently legislated to have stricter laws to ensure animals are not unduly harassed or tortured. And some functions of the Animal Welfare Board of India includes recognition of the animal welfare organizations, and it oversees the animal welfare organizations by granting them recognitions to for meeting their guidelines, and it also provides financial assistance to recognized animal welfare organizations who submit applications to the same body. And also there are various kinds of grants that are given by the Animal Welfare Board of India. and all its names are also mentioned here. It means regular grant, cattle rescue grant, provision of shelter house for animals, then animal birth control program, ambulance service, and natural calamity grant. So these are things from that's all about today's news, and that's all about Animal Welfare Board. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Do share it with your friends. And you can follow us on Telegram. You can also visit our blog, that is www.knowledgehouse.co, in which you will find many interesting articles and various kinds of compelling videos also. And please do subscribe our channel so that it will be a big boost for us. It will be a very encouragement factor for us, and we'll be also coming with more interesting and compelling videos, so you won't miss any updates from us if you could subscribe this channel. So please do support us if possible by making your donations to this particular Paytm number. So, and another way you can support us is by sharing this video as much as possible. So thank you very much for watching this video once again. Have a nice day.